Hey guys, in this video we are looking at a Sequoia that was coated with Crystal Serum Light and topped with EXO 18 months ago, not maintained, washed just a couple of times, and I want to see if these coatings have actually maintained over the last year and a half. But before we get into the content of this video, make sure you guys go below in the YouTube description box. If you're interested in getting into the paint correction and the ceramic coating world, grab my Ceramic Coating Quick Start. It's a free 5-part video series that teaches you guys exactly what ceramic coatings to buy now so you don't have to waste money on stuff that doesn't work, exactly what polishes, pads to use to get into the paint correction game, and more importantly, teaching you guys how to actually bring in customers to your detailing business so you can start to make money with those hands-on skills. Once again, that 5-part video series is in the YouTube description box below. It's totally free. Now let's talk about Crystal Serum Light. Now I'm not going to make you guys wait. We are going to wash this vehicle that the coatings were applied to and see if we can see the coating still there after 18 months. I just want to set up the context really quickly. This particular Sequoia is a relatively old Sequoia, but before we put the Crystal Serum Light and the EXO on top of the paint, it had been repainted. So the particular context of this vehicle is that it was not polished before these coatings went onto it because it was about a month after it had been repainted and really just sat in the garage, and so everything had gassed out and we were good to go to put these coatings on top of it about 30 days after the repaint. But again, basically we just wanted to experiment and say let's not do a polish because it was just repainted. There's really no need for us to touch a polisher to this new clear coat. And the Sequoia was actually single stage before it got repainted. Now of course it's got a clear coat and then the color coat underneath like most modern vehicles. But let's go ahead and see if these maintained. Now the way I want to do this is what I would do with really any vehicle where I've got a ceramic coating on the vehicle. I'm going to do the wheels, tires, and wheel wells first because we are doing a maintenance wash. Then we're going to foam it down, agitation wash, and then look at the water beading after we've kind of stripped all of that surface dirt off of the surface. So let's go ahead and check out the water beading now. And guys, in addition to this, it is important for me to say that I did use a very mild surface prep in order to kind of pull off any last minute residue from the car after the agitation wash. The reason being is even sometimes a soap chemical or some sort of chemical residue can sit on the paint and kind of mask certain levels of beading from a ceramic coating. And so I used a very mild watered down version of a surface prep so as to not hurt the coating if any of it was left, and also to pull off any of that chemical residue. So what you're seeing here is just that bare exposed coating. Now the simple answer you guys are going to get here is that after 18 months of not maintaining the coating, it has failed in most parts of the paint on this Sequoia. Now you guys are going to see me zoom in, like for example on this fender, to different parts where the water kind of starts to recede, because you will see that a coating does not fail in a sort of black and white way. It fails in certain parts of the vehicle, and then in other parts for different reasons it doesn't fail quite as much. So for example, under the rear view mirror on the driver's side here, you can kind of see that line that separates the fender from the driver's side door. There is some kind of, again, receding of the water there. The reason is, as far as I can tell, underneath the rear view mirror or the side view mirror there, it kind of protects things from falling down. You know, of course, gravity pushes things down on that particular part of the paint, and that side view mirror kind of serves as like a cover for that area. It's also an area that doesn't get hit on the interstate. You know, it's on the side of the vehicle. It doesn't get touched with human hands, right? It's not a door handle or anything like that. And so that part actually was kind of maintained. It wasn't totally failed there, but you can see as I kind of move to the rest of the general part of the driver's side door, you're just seeing total failure. Essentially, the water doesn't sheet off at all. Now, as we move back to the fender, you guys can see, obviously, there is some water beading there, but it's very subtle and it takes a long time. Now, as we move to the lower rocker panels of the driver's side door, you can see, again, in kind of that corner pocket there, closer to the tire, the coating has not totally failed, but in essence, it's failed. It's not going to do anything. We're going to have to re-up or completely strip this paint and apply a proper coating after polishing again. Now, as you guys are looking at me going to the back door there and the lower rocker panels, a little more context. This vehicle is never garaged. It sits outside 100% of the time. It is basically a daily driver. And once again, we probably maintained this coating in terms of a maintenance wash, let's say 3 to 5 times out of the total 18 months. Now, moving up towards kind of the windows here, you guys can see once again, it's really just kind of total failure. There's a little bit of a pocket there, kind of on the left side of the SR5 logo, where you can see some of that water start to recede. Again, it's that kind of that back pocket of the door that is just never touched. It's not an area that gets hammered, and so that part is going to kind of maintain little bits of that coating. But once again, you guys can see, even as I move to the hood here, it's just kind of total coating failure on the hood. And like I said, there's going to be parts of the car that have total coating failure, and there's going to be parts of the car that do not have the total coating failure for obvious reasons, right? Some places are protected more than others. The hood in particular, with a car that sits outside and sometimes even sits under trees, that's where it's going to fail very quickly because, again, gravity is allowing everything and anything in the outside world to just sit on that hood. That's pollen, bird droppings, tree sap, everything you can think of. Anytime it rains, where does the water get caught? On the hood, right? Because it sits horizontal, it sits flat. And so that's the area where you're going to expect a lot of coating failure. Now, as I move to the fender of the other side of the car, once again, you guys can see it's funny when we leave the water to sit on the fender for a little bit longer period of time, you guys can see a little bit of beading that actually does start to happen as we move back to the fender when the water is sat there. But again, I wouldn't actually call that evidence of the coating as much as I would just the clear coat that sits on top of the color coat of this particular paint. Now, you guys are going to see kind of the same phenomenon underneath the side view mirror of the passenger side door as we saw on the side view mirror of the driver's side door, where you can see that water actually kind of recedes underneath that side view mirror. Once again, that particular part of the car in some ways has this kind of umbrella over it, and it really does exist just as that tiny part of the car that's right under the side view mirror. The coating is still in some ways evident right there as the water starts to pull together, right? The hydrogen bonding in the water starts to pull together because of the surface tension that the ceramic coating creates, that hydrophobic layer. But as we move to the rest of the car in terms of the rest of the passenger side door, as well as that back door and the lower rocker panels, you guys can see that anytime the water kind of hits that part of the paint, I mean, it's just utter coating failure. There's really nothing more to be said. Now, there's just a couple things to be said about the Crystal Serum Light and the EXO. Number one, on the Wilson Auto Detailing YouTube channel, I am constantly experimenting in different situations with different ceramic coatings, retail grade, professional grade, because this is just my opinion, but as you can look at ceramic coatings with different applications in different situations on different vehicles in different environments, you're going to get this huge, well-rounded picture of ceramic coatings in each of their own little pockets as to what they can do and what they can't do. And so once again, this was a repaint that sat in the garage for about 30 days, gassed out. We put a coating on it right after the prep stage, no polish stage. We put the EXO on top of the Crystal Serum Light. This car sat outside for the last 18 months. It was coated in September of 2020. So it sat outside for the last 18 months, again, in pretty harsh conditions, daily driver, not maintained at any real level. And so what can I conclude about the Crystal Serum Light with the EXO topped? This is not a pair that I'm going to be using on a car like this that's daily driver, meaning it's driven on the interstate, on the highways, going fast, in rain, in the heat, in the cold of the winter. It's not garage kept, it's sitting outside. Sometimes it's parked in the front of the house underneath trees, unless the customer is willing, when they get this particular pair on a car like that, to maintain it on a very regular basis and probably put some sort of topper on top of it. What can I show my customer even with legitimate video here? Hey, after 18 months, we've got a lot of coating failure. It's really not going to serve its purpose. Unless you're looking for this particular duo to last around the next year, the next 12 months, you're going to be disappointed because once we pass that point under this type of maintenance schedule, we're not going to get the full use out of the coating. So I don't know any better tests to do than these long-term tests with ceramic coatings because frankly, in the detailing world, especially online, people make all kind of claims about ceramic coatings in different situations, what they can do, what they can't do. You have to polish, you don't have to polish. What happens if you don't polish? What happens if you do polish? And really, it's these kind of long-term 18-month tests that unfortunately are difficult to do because they do take up a lot of time, but they give you a lot of insight about the coating. This is an 18-month update video, and we're specifying the conditions, we're specifying the conditions of the application, we're specifying what we did and did not do, and so we can really draw some pretty clear cause and effect relationships and get a much more well-rounded view of this particular coating in a situation like this to then extrapolate and say, well, in a situation like this, here's how this would probably perform or not perform. Now, I've used Crystal Serum Light and EXO in a lot of different situations, and this really is not indicative of this being a good or bad coating. Once again, this is just the limitations of a coating in a specific situation. This is, of course, a very popular retail grade duo coating, and it's something that I like as well and fits certain situations better. If you guys want to get your hands on these products, they will be in the YouTube description box below, and make sure, before you guys bounce off this video, if you want to get into ceramic coatings, make sure to go below, get the Ceramic Coating Quick Start, that free 5-part video series, because as you've probably figured out, ceramic coatings can be very confusing. That's why we're doing things like this on the channel, to demystify them. But the most difficult part about ceramic coatings for detailers is that they get the hands-on training, but they don't get the business training to start bringing in customers and cash flow, this particular technical skill in their detailing business. We're going to teach you guys how to do that with the link below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, keep working hard, and I'll see you in the next video.